Hey there, friend, and welcome back. My name is Sarah Rusk, and this is literally like the 10th time I've tried starting this video. I'm so happy to be back here with you today. I've had a lot of revelations within the past week that I'm super excited to share with you. I feel like I kind of like cracked open a couple of things. If you've listened to previous videos of mine, you've heard that I tend to have like a weird, like blocked feeling in my chest, which I believe is, my heart center. And I've heard from so many different sources that your heart is literally like the most powerful thing in your body in terms of like, just it being this huge source of energy and like a big energetic like component of just your being and your essence. And when it's blocked off, you have a hard time receiving or giving. And it's really important. And I've been going through a lot of things which has been causing my heart to shut down or want to stay shut down and to be blocked. And because of this, I've been really being in my meditations, listening to what it's saying or what it is that I'm feeling and trying to take steps towards either being neutral, feeling neutral energy, or finding things that help me to feel a little bit better. I was just hanging out in the garage. I tried shooting a video from there many times and it didn't work out. Um, and I was playing with the wood burner pen that I just got, and I made some cute little creations, and it was so much fun. And I love being in that space of just being, in my garage, which is a very creative space with my dogs, and it's kind of outside and it's not like inside. And I just connected with myself, with my right brain in a different way than I do when I'm here doing, photography or some other kind of drawing skills and whatnot. And I might be attempting to do some oil painting later on today. We'll see how ambitious I'm feeling. And I have been asking myself a lot of questions when I start to feel upset or I start to feel blocked. And while I don't need to know why things are happening, I want to be a different version of myself and a more open version of myself to work through this resistance. So I've been doing that by listening to Joe Dispenza, Kyle Cease, and Abraham Hicks on just full blast repeat. When I'm going through things throughout my day, they're always on. I'm always finding some way to keep my vibration high. And when I feel something that's creating resistance in my body, I start to notice it and I pay attention to it. And then I kind of like act accordingly depending on what tools I have handy. If it's causing me to feel an angry emotion, I'm like, all right, let the anger come up and then we'll kind of work with it from there. I've hit a couple of points, within the past week where I had been uncomfortable or in, situations that would have triggered me in a different way. And I've been able to think of them differently and I've been able to act differently and I've gotten different results, and I'm starting to feel a lot lighter in my body, and it's starting to feel like things in my world are shifting. And I can't quite pinpoint what exactly or when exactly it started happening. I've been showing up, been doing my meditations. I've been doing a couple of different breathwork things too. My friend Sarah Falter has some great breathwork classes and courses. Totally go check her stuff out. Um, Kyle Cease with his Absolutely Everything Pass, they brought breathwork back, and I've been doing that. They've got it recorded, and I've been doing that every morning. And oh my gosh, like what a great way to start your day! Like now I can see why Sarah had dedicated, her time to doing this so much, because it makes such a difference, especially with me with my anxiety. I was in a situation yesterday that for the past month I've been anxious about, and I don't want to say the stupidest thing, but I've just been having driving anxiety, and I've been worried about driving with passengers. And I had myself, all my tools and stuff like that, and I didn't have any issues. I'm so proud of myself. One of the biggest things with me is pathological demand avoidance. And that, say you're about to go take out the garbage and, your mom, your roommate, your spouse, partner, whatever says, "Hey, don't forget to take the garbage out." And you immediately get offended and you're like, "Get bent. I'm not doing it now." That happens to me or happened to me with everything. I hated when other people would win. If someone had an advantage over me or just it felt like they had power over me, I hated giving them more of my power and kind of like bending to them, so to speak. And through a lot of self-discovery and self-realization, I've had glimpses as to why stuff like this has happened. It's a controlling issue. I have control issues and I know this. Things have to be perfect and go my way. And if they don't, then I freak out. And for the past week, between losing my job and a whole bunch of other things, I have been just really surrendering to everything that's been happening and just not trying to force anything and going through what feels good in my body. I came across this really great video with PTSD and pathological demand avoidance and stress and anxiety in general. And they suggested that anytime that, a stressful situation happens that would cause you to contract, just taking breaths and relaxing. And for some reason, that hit me differently than it normally would have. Like, I was able to embody that concept a lot deeper than when I've heard it a million other times before. Enough layers must have come up where I felt like I could really like let that like be ingrained into my being. So when I feel myself wanting, if I'm in a stressful situation and I want to start contracting, I immediately like open up my body and I start breathing. And I also send my breath to the area in my body that starts to get tight. For me, that tends to be my gut. So I'll just kind of like take a big belly breath, or if my chest starts to get tight, I'll expand into my chest and just kind of focus and breathe on that. And then I notice that it dissipates. I've stopped attaching stories to things. Like, I finally have been able to get over parts of my ego and my patterns that keep telling me that I have to keep myself safe. I have to defend myself. We've got to be scared of everything. The inner chatter has gotten it's gotten quieter, more quiet. It's been less noisy than it usually has been. And I honestly think like doing things that I enjoy doing has really helped with that too. Cause usually I would just sit here and ruminate about how I need to find a job. And I've just been living life. And I'm like, wow, this is really easy. And it's so much easier to do it that way than the way that I had been doing it. So we're going to keep going with that for a little bit. And the other thing too, in this video that I had found, they had said that when you're about to go into a stressful situation, kind of stopping and asking to yourself, like, is this actually a stressful situation or is it something that I've been conditioned to think is stressful? And kind of like challenging it in your brain. And I've been doing that a lot, like, especially when it comes to driving places. I'm like, is this actually stressful or am I just making it stressful? Can I actually like change the perspective of this? And as I keep doing that, like, I've been doing it subconsciously, it kind of just happens automatically now. And life has just kind of gotten a little bit less resistant. Even if it's just like 1 or 2%, I'm starting to feel the difference. Things that used to drive me absolutely insane no longer do. And it's bizarre, and I'm rolling with it, and it might last, it might not, but for the time being, I'm going to take the relief. And I am going to just kind of enjoy the fact that I'm not attaching stories onto things. If something happens, I'm just like, that just is. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people past couple of days too, who like I've offered advice to them. They've asked me my opinion on things and I've said what I felt. And while it might not have necessarily aligned with them, one of the biggest things that I have stopped doing is apologizing for my point of view. Completely gotten rid of just the apologetic version of myself. My confidence is starting to go up ever so slightly, and it's great. And I'm starting to no longer give my power away to people, and I'm starting to feel like I am important too. I'm asking for things, which for some reason that's been really hard for me, and I can't remember where that disconnect happened, but I know that there was a disconnect where I could not ask for things. Like, if something was inconvenient, I'd have to rearrange my whole entire schedule or my whole entire life to be able to accommodate somebody else. And I have now hit the point where if I need to make an adjustment in something or ask for something, I am now going to. And the way in which somebody else responds to what it is that I'm asking, I'm also finally embodying is also none of my business. And I don't need to apologize for asking for things. Like, it's my intention is not to be an asshole. My intention is just to say, hey, like, this isn't convenient for me right now. Can we make adjustments? Like, so it's just been really awesome, really cool. I've been feeling super empowered and inspired. And I had one other realization that I really want to talk about. I was washing my car before, just kind of like getting lost. And this always happens when, your brain's off doing one thing and your body's doing another. And that has to do with like how I tend to isolate and drop out away from people really fast. And I thought about instances where when I was in like middle school, going through the worst of like stuff at home and not being able to emotionally regulate myself, my friends would be like, Sarah, you have like one more chance or one more try. And if you like don't stop, I don't even know what I was doing. It was such a long time ago. If you pretty much like don't like stop being miserable or angry or whatever, like we're not going to be friends with you. I can understand their point of view, but thinking back to my younger self, because it was me, like I didn't know any better. And it had carried with me and left such a big imprint in me that when someone gets mad at me or I upset somebody, I immediately pull myself away. And I'm thinking it has to do with instances like that when I was younger. Like, you get one more chance, then we're not going to be your friend anymore. Like, that abandonment that I would just then, I flipped it and I abandoned everybody else first before I got abandoned. And that doesn't happen in my life anymore. And, I used to like bribe people to be my friends. Like, I would go above and beyond for holidays and get them just a whole bunch of stupid things, like really expensive things, because I didn't want them to leave me. And it's a pattern that's been in my life because of, personal things in my life with other people. They've done similar things. And through like Kyle Cease's work, he's really shown me and kind of given me the tools of like, I don't need to bribe people to be with me. Like, I want to be around people who are with me. Like, we're together. I don't have to bring anybody up. I don't have to bribe anybody to like me. Like, pretty much all my friends that I have in my life right now, those are they're good people. They're genuine people that want to be with me, that genuinely care about me. And I'm working on getting myself to a place where I could do the same and, be able to provide like the same kind of energetic exchange. As wonky as I might be sometimes, like I have great intentions for my friends, with my friends, to be a good friend, to show up as a good friend here too. But it's just really awesome to see how far I've come. I hope that was coherent. I've tried recording this a bunch of times and I kind of have a rule with myself where if it doesn't flow naturally, then I won't record it. But like, I kind of have this feeling in the back of my head. I'm working more and more on hearing what my body has to say. And if I have an idea that wants to flow through, you know, I'll try it one more time and just kind of listen to it. And this wanted to come out and say words, which is what I just said, words. My own weird form of channeling, I guess you could say. And I hope that this provided something for somebody out there. So friend, thank you so much for listening to this video of mine, watching this video of mine. Remember to empower yourself and to love yourself no matter what. We need you here. And no matter what, just promise me you'll keep singing. Okay, friend?